Hi, my name is Clayton Messinger, and my lecture recital is on Guqin music, its history, notation, and performance, concluded by a playing of Yangguan Sandie and annotations where necessary by me. Firstly, the history of Guqin. The Guqin, or more broadly the Qin, is a Chinese zither that dates back to at least over 1.5 million BC, during the Shang dynasty. Arguably more important to understanding the Qin than the real history is the spiritual lore surrounding the instrument's beginnings. Chinese spiritual lore dates it back even further, over 3 millennium BC, and states that it was created by Fu Xi, the man who, alongside his wife Nua, created all of humanity, as well as hunting, fishing, domesticating, farming, cooking, the Kangxi language system, and, interestingly, music, specifically the Xin. Contrasting this origin story to that of the Abrahamic religions like Christianity, Islam, and Judaism, who never mention music alongside humanity and their civilizational cornerstones, the inclusion of music's creation within the most basic necessities for sustaining civilization is very telling of the significance music has in Chinese society. Most importantly for Qin players and those playing Qin music is this: the first instrument, the one to start music, and the one deemed most integral to China, is the Qin. Because of the extraordinarily heavy weights of importance, chin playing is not just a musical exercise, but a deeply spiritual and intellectual one as well. So much so that playing is said to develop one's morality and character, enrich one's life and learning, and even appease spirits of good and evil. While some of the more fantastical qualities of chin playing may not be held so earnestly today, many of the others are still upheld throughout all of China. Unlike most musical forms, qin is not meant to be played for an audience. Rather, it is meant to be a personal, contemplative art form. In the rare occasions that it is performed, the audience is usually restricted to one or two friends who are very close to the performer. Due to the usual lack of audience, the qin is traditionally played in serene, isolated, and meditative environments. These are areas of nature common in China like mountains, pine forests, or self-cultivated gardens and pavilions. Additionally, the time of playing was kept late at night, such that the moon was the only prominent light source. Incense was also commonly burnt to perfume the air. The playing scene of the Qin more closely resembles that of a spiritual meditation rather than a crowd-pleasing performance. Qin music reflects these prior sentiments well, as it's typically set to accompany a poem and is played in a free, yet slow and ponderous manner. The dynamics and tempi of the pieces ebb and flow with the performer's emotions while playing, and most often the music transcends notations, as the music has been played long before notations were even common for music. For most of Chinese history, the music itself wasn't necessarily taught or written in the way that modern music is, with its indications of style, volume, and tempo. What little original Qin notation exists was more akin to lead sheet labels of a jazz chart, where the performer would be told the string position to pluck and how to pluck it. The rhythm, volume, style, and other musical aspects of the pieces would be drawn from the poems that accompany the Qin music. In most senses, the playing of the Qin wasn't just musical, but rather a poetic endeavor as well. Importantly noted, the performers did not recite the poems while playing. Rather, it was up to them to feel the words as it moved them and use those thoughts and emotions to produce the music within the given pitches. More modernized Qin notation keeps these elements of the original, like using text to tell the player which string to play and in what manner, but it now also introduces rhythm, a time signature, tempo markings, dynamics, and lyrics to the original poems as well for some examples. For example, here's a modernized Qin notation of the piece I'll be playing today, Yangguan Sandie. Really, it is functionally identical to a more Western approach to sheet music, like this notation of Yangguan Sandie. The key difference between the two being that in the Qin notation, the numbers represent the pitches of the given key of the piece. As seen in the top left, 1 is G, so 2 in this key would be an A, and so on. All other markings are identical to Western sheet music, and the bars below the pitch notations, the numbers on the Qin music, represent the beams of what would be the notes. For example, the first measure is dotted eighth D, 16th E flat, eighth G, eighth A, and half note A with a grace note B flat attached. I used this Qin notated music alongside several others and many performed recordings to compile this, my own arrangement of Yangguan Sandie for Euphonium. This arrangement seeks to change as little as possible from the original stringed techniques possible with the qin, like pitch bending, that normally wouldn't be possible on euphonium, and instead sought to find a similar way of achieving that sound through extended techniques, in this case, half valving to lip bend pitches. These annotations, among others, are made in my arrangement from which I perform Yangguan Sandie. Additionally, I borrowed many of my stylistic interpretations from an accomplished qin performer like Charlie Huang, Henry Lee, and John Thompson. However, before diving into the performance of the piece, though, let's discuss the piece's actual history and story. Yangguan Sandie translates roughly to three variations on Yang Pass, which correlates directly to the variations upon the themes presented in the first 15 measures, and most prominently, though, the first three measures. The underlying poem of Yangguan Sandie is based off poet Wang Wei's Seeing Yuan II off on a mission to Anxi. And based on the history of the song, Wang Wei and Yuan were exceptionally close friends. Wang knew that this send-off could very well be the last time that he saw his friend, as the final destination of Anxi was hundreds of kilometers from their point of separation at Yang Pass, which was hundreds of kilometers from the capital, and the region of travel was known to be full of barbarians and other threats to Yuan. As the story goes, in his grief, Wang wrote the poem through tears and mournfully sang its accompanying tune, and did so with so much emotion that it evoked the same feelings in those around him, spreading all the way back to the capital. There, it was played by musicians and passed down as a send-off song until its very first notations. The poem itself is structured roughly into 8 parts, the first 7 of which describe the journey to Yang Pass, and the final 8th section which describes the farewell and how Wang is left feeling in Yuan's absence. The poem is quite long, so I will not read the entire thing. However, I will display it alongside my arrangement during my performance, which will be soon. Thank you very much for viewing my lecture, and I hope you enjoy Yangguan Sandie.
Wow.